Nobel Gundam Berserker mode. Hey again, it's Robert184, 2Rs2B's Gundam.tk. You've seen all the parts from the Nobel Gundam Berserker mode in the previous parts and the unboxing, but now it's time to turn this into this angry mobile fighter. Now usually I wouldn't make a special part just for this, but let's see, once you put this on, what kind of effect it's gonna have on her balance. Yep, legs gotta get fixed. Right off the hop, I also had the head flop back there. Doesn't seem like the neck's gonna be too strong either. Once you bring the legs back a little bit under, there you're going to get your first impression of the high-grade Future Century Nobel Gundam Berserker mode. And look at that hair, it looks almost as long as her body there. But so far the effect is pretty good. The colors, they seem to pop. The purple really does look purple, the pink really looks pink. To be honest, the white comes across as just being white, even though these main parts are actually supposed to be a light pink. But it's the head of hair and the fact that you get that little bit of orange on the shoulders and on the, well, beard, is it? And then the fact that you've got the hair, I think it looks really good in terms of colors, though not as red as I'd like it to be. In terms of mobility, the first thing that you'll notice is that these hips here can go up and down, which is sort of interesting. The legs can rotate all the way around and off to the side, no problem doing the full splits. The knees are going to bend and give you 90. The ankles, remember they're going to fall out, but you can rotate them here if you want to put her down on her tippy toes, and they can rotate off to the side about that much. For the upper body, you can see that even if I pull the head down, it will flop every once in a while. But you're able to rotate the waist about this much. The arms are going to go all the way around. Just be careful not to dislodge the hair. The shoulders will rotate, the arms are going to bend up to here, and the arms can reach across and actually touch the other shoulder, so not too bad overall for posability. Usually with kits you'd be pretty pleased by the fact that you've got a neck that moves forward and back and then a ball bone joint on the top that the head will mount on, but with this one, if you just give it even just the slightest flick, it's going to look really good in a Superman pose, but anywhere else she's going to end up looking straight up with the hair looking down, which can look pretty angry, but still you want to be able to have it with the head down and have that down dependably without it being too big an issue. I wonder if they could have redesigned the neck just to make it a little bit more solid for this Berserker mode. Height comparison, here's the Nobel Gundam and Mobile Fighters from G Gundam, and most of the 90s kits are pretty small in general. The head is shorter than Exia, as it should be. And here she is next to my previous review. It's the HGFC Jesta, and you'll notice that right away it's quite a bit taller at 19 meters as it should be, and a lot more filled out, unless you were actually to compare it this way. The first pose that I'm inclined to try is just, if the head's going to fall backwards, why not work with it? Put the legs a little bit apart and then open up the arms, and basically she's about to go berserker, staring up at this guy wondering why she's so angry and just has the urge to fight and kill. That's what the berserker mode should be, except for the fact that this looks too white and not red. I think that's a great recreation of the scenes from the anime. Arming the Nobel is incredibly easy. Just put on the manipulators and put in the beam swords, and if you've got them facing down and then the legs a little bit offset with the hair flowing back, and so far the head isn't flopping backwards, I have to say that this comes across as being a pretty cool pose, and that the double beam swords really do look like a very effective weapon. Once connected to the display base, you're going to have a whole bunch of new posing possibilities, but you're also going to have a few issues that have come up. Getting the legs in just the right place, of course, is just a matter of personal preference and whether you're a good poser or not in the case of Gundam models. But the problem here, and you should insert jokes here, because this custom attachment, it doesn't work very well. This whole thing, it can collapse forward or backwards very well. It's not going to stay on there very well, so right away you can come up with a great pose, but it could just fall out 3 seconds later. You can see here that even when you're following the directions and you put this in the right way, it's not going to hold it on for very long. This is the kind of pose that's shown off quite a bit on the box and in the instruction manual, and you'll notice that when you put the hair down there again, you just get a little bit more of a filled in effect, which is something that I haven't been doing so far. Here the head coming all the way up isn't a problem, and with the beam swords off to the side just sort of offset the hair being so wide and just add a little bit of width to the whole overall kit. And it's actually staying on the stand right now, so that's good to see, because this is a pose that you'll probably recreate every once in a while. But in the end, you can have all the battle poses that you want, but the fact that it's not glowing red really doesn't scream Berserker mode, so why not have the Nobel Gundam do what it does best, which is silly poses. And in terms of just the technical aspects of this, can you imagine high-grade Universal Century kits from 10 years ago being able to do things like this? It's hard to fathom. So the fact that you can get the poses here, standing on one toe and one foot in high heels with a set of hair that goes up that far to the back and maintaining its balance pretty well, well, right away, if you're into silly poses, this Gundam certainly is the right one for you. As the Nobel spins around with a V for Victor, I'm going to wrap up my review of the mobile fighter here. Don't forget to stay tuned for the verdict, where I'm going to have all the good and bad points listed in one place so that you can decide whether you'd want to get the regular one, the Berserker mode, both, or neither. And of course, wanted to let me know what you think of the kit with a comment down below. That's always appreciated. I enjoy reading them, and I know other people do too. So please let everybody know what you think. Anyway, everybody, Robert184, gundam.tk, thanks for watching. See you next time, and don't forget, lots more reviews coming on the way. See ya, everybody. Wow. I think I'll leave and come back when you're in a better mood. Future speculation is always fun for me, so the fact that we've got 2 Nobel Gundams means it's pretty much done all it can do at this grade and size, well, outside of real grade. But that leads to the question of, where is the HGFC line going to go from here? I've got the Shining Gundam, and I've got the Master Gundam, and Funseki. I don't know who's not excited about that. Haven't built them yet, but we have so many kits that can come out in HGFC, and there was an interview last year that was done with a Bandai rep, and they said that the HGFC line was selling very well, which is why they're continuing with it, more so than with the X line. But there's so many things we can be getting. I'm hoping that we're going to be getting Maxter and Dragon, Rose and Bolt down the line, perhaps released as pairs on the same week, similar to the way that Master and Shining came out. But what else? We can get the Spiegel Gundam, which got a Master grade, so why wouldn't it get an HGFC? What about some grunt suits like some of the Death Army or Death Bats, things like that? And the dream of everybody, the Devil Gundam in high grade 1/144th. They could make a small version, they could make a huge version, but that is an epic diorama that people just would be crazy not to make if you have everybody, the whole Shovel Alliance, up against the Devil Gundam with friends. John Bull Gundam, Neros Gundam, could those possibly get kits? I don't think so, but the fact that if we got the main ones, I'd be pretty happy. But the main point of speculation is about a Master Grade Nobel Gundam. Is it possible? Well, the fact that we've got a color variation with actual kit variations leads me to believe that it's possible. It was on the survey of the 30 that Bandai was looking at for Master Grades, which is great. There were a lot of popular MSs that weren't, or mobile fighters. I hope we do see it one day. I think that they did this well. It would have to have a really skinny inner frame, which could cause problems, but you could get 2 sets of hair, as we've seen here. No color variation necessarily, but maybe one day. But in the meantime, high grade Future Century, it's enough for me.